What is up, XRP community? Welcome back to another video. Thank you for joining me. I want to talk about XRP and a plan how it could be the world reserve currency. It's from a 2016 conference with the IMF and the World Bank titled Rethinking International Cooperation. I think it's pretty clear that a lot of world leaders are trending towards globalism, and this plan reinvents the US dollar and creates a more globalized currency. You're going to want to see that towards the end. And then also why I think the market is going to go down in a scenario where Bitcoin could not be the number one cryptocurrency anymore, and something like XRP with a real use case could succeed that. This came out just 17 minutes ago. BlackRock CEO says, "I'm a believer in cryptocurrency as an asset class, not a currency." Very high praise from Larry Fink, BlackRock CEO. Really quick, guys, if you want a spot to get crypto, check out Uphold in the video description below. We're at dollar cost average and get my XRP daily. And if you want $41 for free to get some more crypto, sign up with Webull, deposit 1 penny. You can get up to $25,000 in free stocks, but typically you just get 40 to 300 bucks. But it's a great offer just for signing up and depositing a penny. Get your free $41 in stocks. You can find Webull in the video description below. Here I want to show you this chart. It's the 10-year Treasury constant maturity minus the 3-month Treasury constant maturity from the Federal Bank of St. Louis. This guy says, "Give me one good reason why this time is different." The U.S. yield curve recession forecaster. It's been right every time. We got a Bitcoin ETF that opens trading at the exact 61.8% fib retracement. Stocks in complacency rally, and everything else running on fumes. So you can see right here, don't misinterpret this graph thinking that the green is good. The real financial problems happen after this curve reverses. So the dot-com bust, and then the Fed cuts rates to try and stop the bleeding, the global financial crisis. The Fed cuts rates to stop the bleeding. And this is where we currently are right now. So there's a slim chance maybe this time is different. But if anything, we can learn from history. It often rhymes. And I would not be too bullish right now. Long term, by 2025, yes, I think we see some good gains. But in the short midterm, I think we're going to see some choppy waters. Speaking of the fib retracement level, Crypto Insight says, yesterday on the introduction of the Bitcoin spot ETF, we saw Bitcoin wick and reject into the Fibonacci 618 level. Fibonacci, so I used to be a mathematics teacher. I taught Algebra 1, Algebra 2. And one of the big problems with the education system is they make math so boring, when in reality, and I'm going to nerd out for a second, things like Fibonacci numbers are absolutely beautiful. You find Fibonacci numbers in the golden ratio all throughout nature. Do you know why a 4-leaf clover is so rare? Because flowers typically have Fibonacci number of petals, and 4 is not a Fibonacci number. That's why a 4-leaf clover is so rare. The spiral on a pineapple, the spiral on a pine cone, these are all mathematical equations. So the Fibonacci numbers, they have some very important analysis that we can do from the chart. And retracement levels are notoriously hard to break, as there are areas where professional traders deleverage risk, meaning those who have been accumulating at lower levels will start to sell off a large portion of their bag and take profit on some trades. And we saw that when Bitcoin got up to like 49.2K, and it's currently sitting at 46.1K. Some people are calling for 12K Bitcoin. Some people are just saying we'll see a dump into the low 40s. Notice the low 40s is this other Fibonacci retracement level, the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level. And you can kind of see on the chart, these levels are respected a lot, right? Here it bounces off the Fibonacci retracement. Here it bounces off the Fibonacci retracement. Here it bounces. Here it bounces. And at this level right here, the 0.236, you see how choppy the chart was. So we'll just have to see where it goes with that. The first Bitcoin ETF day was terribly unsuccessful. Everyone is reporting 4.5 billion traded, and I talked about this yesterday, but I guess I was not correctly analyzing the data. Excuse me. If you look at the numbers, you will notice that the total amount traded on day one of the Bitcoin ETFs was 4.6 billion. Grayscale Bitcoin, this index fund that has been around for years now, was 50% of that 2.3 billion. The Grayscale Bitcoin numbers were majority sales and outflows due to the higher fees and old Bitcoin being locked up. Therefore, the real numbers were closely to approximately zero inflows. Now, this sounds like FUD. It is day one of the Bitcoin ETF. Over the next few years, we're going to see a lot of inflows. However, everyone reporting that 4.6 billion was traded is a little bit misleading. I want you to take this clip here. This guy on the right, this is Laya Hepburn. She's just like a pretty girl on Twitter that talks about crypto. This guy had a 20-year career at Swift. Okay, take a listen.
Here's a discussion surrounding crypto replacing SWIFT. So we did speak earlier where you mentioned that it's not necessarily about replacing SWIFT, it's about complementing it. So let's get some more information on this.
Okay. I used to work for Swift. I was Swift for 20 years, so Swift is flowing through my veins. Swift is the preeminent messaging system for the financial industry, which covers, say, payments, FX, trade, in terms of securities, etc., Nostra reconciliations, etc. What we're looking with the crypto, though, is where Swift would have a store and forward system for most of its payment transactions, where you need service level agreements that in a certain time I will do something, but payment turns up at a certain time during the day. Here we're looking at the new network styles, which allow instant, real-time movement of the funds and visibility of those funds as well. So we would not have a situation where banks need to come back to you and say, have my funds arrived? It's 3 days later. I need to find out or find query messages moving around the network. There's nothing like that. I don't believe Ripple is going to replace SWIFT. Ripple is one of the complementary networks, which is going to allow those institutions who need real time to make use of that. And I think we're also seeing that Swift are changing their network capability so that real time will be a possibility as well. But we may also see Ripple XRP moving across the Swift network as a currency when we're perhaps using something like FX.
Now, so, I just slightly moving on for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. This is the theory about how Bitcoin could be destroyed as it appreciates in price. It says how 20 million per Bitcoin will end Bitcoin. Bitcoin was created for people to send money digitally as an alternative to centralized control. As it grows, so does that end. Our story begins in the Congo, where a government official puts a bar-coded tag on a sack of rare or rich in tantalum, used in all of our smartphones. Tantalum is the rarest stable metal on Earth. In fact, probably never heard about it until now. I hadn't heard of tantalum. Have you guys heard of tantalum? Tantalum is mined in 5 major locations. Republic of Congo, 43% of the world's supply. Brazil, Rwanda, Nigeria, and China. This ultra-rare metal is hidden in your phone, and you probably had no idea it was there, but the big companies profit off it greatly. These corporations have no intention of selling you tantalum, even though it is highly resistant to corrosion and could be used directly in wider applications as a metal adverse to rust. It would even be better silver coin and could be held for centuries without decay. So the rarest metal on Earth, mined in only a few locations, is controlled by a small set of companies who hold this asset to produce products they can then sell to the mass public at a much higher price per ounce of tantalum. Rule 1. Sell the product, not the asset. Many people today are actually very new to Bitcoin and probably know some very basic information. A few facts. 21 million supply divisible up to 8 decimals. Each transaction is a difficulty problem for a computer to solve. It takes a lot of time. Today, Bitcoin's price is in the 40,000s, and it was only a few years ago that people would say you are high on hopium if you believe Bitcoin would be worth over 20,000. You would get smashed with hate on social media even if you dared to state this. Rule 2, no price talk. But we all know that the market cap of Bitcoin surpassed $1 trillion for a brief time. November 9th, 2021, Bitcoin reached its highest market cap of $1.3 trillion at $67,000 per coin. At that point, a lot of people were calling for Bitcoin to get a close at around 100K. We were told the story in the early days that Bitcoin was meant to be an alternative form of currency outside of the centralized government-based money, that eventually the world would adopt it as a new form of money. It was meant to be about freedom, breaking us from control. Anyone could boot up a computer, connect to the Bitcoin network, and start mining it, contributing to the network receiving Bitcoin in return as a reward. It was an open, decentralized promise of independence and financial utopia. But then what happened next? Rule 3, greed. Mining farms began to emerge where giant warehouses of Bitcoin computers were used to mine Bitcoin, and all the rewards were sold to the market to pay for the behemoth business operations. Today, there are only 5 major Bitcoin mining companies that secure the network. These top 5 companies are Riot, Marathon, Cypher, Hut 8, and TeraWulf. There are many more, but they are just minor players. BlackRock owns shares in 4 out of 5 of these big miners, and eventually one day it will own the future of all the miners. Why? BlackRock is in the asset accumulation game. They're out to take it all. They'll even take your ranch. BlackRock and other corporations will control the miners because then they will control the remaining supply of new Bitcoin to be mined over the next 100 years. This is how they prevent new Bitcoin from entering the public market. The miner supply goes directly to BlackRock. This is where it gets interesting because it brings us to a moment in time that many declare would never happen. The ETF, Exchange Traded Fund, a traditional financial vehicle to deliver a product to anyone in the world without the need of actual self-custody. The ETF is just a basket, a registered security, and you can put anything you want in the basket. Oranges, cows, gold, even money. The asset within the ETF basket is what backs it and gives it value. A registered entity issues the ETF, investors buy the shares of the ETF. Just like putting tantalum in your smartphone, BlackRock is going to put Bitcoin in an ETF and sell the world their security product. BlackRock must own and hold Bitcoin to back their product, and they're not stopping with just some of the market. BlackRock and all others will be buying Bitcoin and removing it from public exchanges from now until it's gone. Like as in all of it, forever. As the price goes up due to the success of the ETF, so does the public supply go down because the price starts going to unbelievable numbers. The public sells at 100K, sells at 200K, sells at 250, 300K, 500K. What happens next? The public at this point realizes that Bitcoin sold is not coming back to the market. No one will use it because it's too valuable for any type of utility. Panic begins to kick into overdrive. The largest funds in the world become majority owners of Bitcoin, held in cold storage. BlackRock now owns the majority of Bitcoin. It will be 1 million per coin. They're not selling it back to you at any price. Understand this. They're doing it for control. Control of the asset, control of the market, control of the future financial network of digital assets. Most of us thought the markets would crash and pile into USD, into crypto as a savior. No. The traditional markets are about to vacuum up all of crypto and take possession of the most valuable future assets on earth. Once they have majority control, they are going to turn around and sell you a crypto market by means of derivatives. BlackRock drives Bitcoin to 20 million. And who will be there to sell you those derivatives? Who will be there to settle tokenized derivatives 24/7, trading those Bitcoin derivatives for every major institution in the world? I'm sure you can guess. The dirty little secret that no one wants to admit or know is that the greatest scarce asset on the planet is going to get sent into a useless cold storage box, while the greatest digital asset on earth is going to transact and settle its derivative globally 24/7. He's talking about XRP. You asked for the XRP endgame, I gave it to you. The derivatives market. That's how Bitcoin dies. Thanks for watching the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you like daily crypto content. Have a great weekend. Until next time.